Hey, comic lovers, EMoney, the old man, and Thor the Dog on Thunder back here with you again. And today, remember I told you we're downgrading a little bit here, but we're still gonna bring you a lot of great comic book news. So today we're talking about the reviews from last week. We had a lot of cool comic books. We had I think we had a couple Batman titles. We had a couple indies. A lot of cool stuff going on. And then we're gonna give you our previews for this week's comic. It's a big week. Big week in comic books, yeah.
Scares me. Too much.
And then I'm going to give you a movie-ism. I think I have like 3 movie-isms in a row. You're getting off lucky.
Amen.
All right. Less than 2 months until Black Widow. This is Back Issues. All right, comic lovers, so before we get started today, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, turn on your notifications, give us a thumbs up, and if you like, leave us a comment. All right, so we're jumping right into comic reviews today. No subject this week. All right, so we have our top 3 recommendations for last week's comic books. And remember, we're grading comic books on a 5-shield rating system. What we do is after we read the comic books, we give them a grade. 1 grade for writing, 1 grade for artwork. So each comic book gets 4 grades, 2 between the 2 of us. And then we take those 4 numbers, put them together, and get a average score based on 5 shields.
All right, so for May 19th, 2021, a light week for us.
Yeah.
We only got 8 comic books. That's
pretty low.
That's the lowest number of comics we've gotten in any week that I can remember. But at any rate, as usual, there was a tie for first and second place. But let's talk about third place. It ended up with 4 shields, but it was 3.75 rounded up.
Right.
All right, and that would be Daredevil number 30.
All right, so great story here. So if you haven't been reading, I recommend you do, obviously. Daredevil, Matt Murdock, is in prison. He had been tried and sentenced, and he's in jail. In prison as Daredevil, not as Matt Murdock.
Has the mask on.
Now, how he managed to convince the courts to try him as Daredevil and not as Matt Murdock, unmask him, yep. I do not know. We didn't see that part.
No, we didn't start reading until after the trial was over. I do know that his twin brother, Mike Murdock, has taken his place working with Foggy in the law firm, so that the world at large doesn't realize that Daredevil is Matt Murdock.
Right. So now, Daredevil Matt is trying to play martyr, making a deal with the feds, and then not taking them up on their part of the offer,
which would be to get out early.
Right. So Foggy, of course, tell him he's an idiot.
Which he is.
Yep. And a new Daredevil, Elektra, is patrolling the streets. And she is trying to live by Matt's code, not killing anyone. But she is also going to protect the streets in her own way.
Well, the girl's got to be who she is.
Yeah. She is sort of controlling a lot of the smaller crimes around Hell's Kitchen. And driving the other drug lords and such out. So she's still not killing, but she's being Daredevil her own way. So number 3, Daredevil number 30. Check it out.
All right. So there was a tie for first and second place at 4 shields earned, not rounded up.
And we had to pick.
So we did one of the usual things. We sumo wrestled over it, and EMoney won. And
there are no pictures. Don't look for them.
Yeah, I won't allow that. But at any rate, so EMoney picked Redemption to be number 2, which, to be honest, I would have picked the same one. It's a great book. We've been on it since issue number 1, and this is issue number 4. Now, this is a science fiction post-apocalyptic Western.
Yeah. So you don't get a good look at her in this cover, but I said this since the first issue of this series. The butcher down here as a picture of her. This is Linda Hamilton.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, the artist obviously based the character off of her.
I mean, if you were to take a picture of Linda Hamilton from any of the Terminator movies except the first one,
Yeah.
and put it beside the artwork in this book, it's obviously the same character.
Mm-hmm. So they ever do a movie based on this series, you gotta cast Linda Hamilton, obviously.
Which they should.
Yeah.
Because it would be awesome.
Mm-hmm. All right, so number 2, Solid 4 Shield Redemption.
And then that's a miniseries.
Yes.
So it's starting to wrap up.
Mm-hmm.
The next one's going to be a slobber knocker, I guarantee it.
Right.
All right, and number 1 on the hit parade.
Mm-hmm.
We read a lot of Bat books.
Yep.
There's some that we don't read. But this is a new one. It's number 1. I was sold when I saw the artwork for the cover, which I think is by Robertson and Rodriguez. But it's my kind of artwork. It reminds me of the guy that did the Killing Joke, Boland.
Okay.
I think that's his name. But great, clean pencil and ink artwork.
Mm-hmm.
And you can talk about story. It was good.
Yeah, Legends of the Dark Knight number 1. Now, this new story, they hit the ground running because it's a complicated case for the Batman, and it involves the Joker, the Penguin, Mr. Freeze, and other criminals. So they don't play around in that first issue, and the artwork is just pretty amazing in here. So 4 Shields overall, Legends of the Dark Knight number 1. Pick it up. Mm-hmm. And I gotta say, in the last 30 years or so, if you take all of the stories that are really great on average for any character, Batman probably wins.
Well, I mean, let's face it. You may say Superman is the iconic character
He
for
is.
DC, but Batman's the bread and butter.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one that people are buying.
And a lot of the great Superman stories probably involve Batman on some scale.
In some way.
Yeah.
Because they play off of each other extremely well.
Right. So here's our top recommendations for last week. If you haven't picked them up already, head to your local comic book shop. Go get them. All right. So this week's comic books. And this week's comics is not like last week.
No, it's not a small week.
Mm-mm.
In fact, last week was one of the smallest weeks. This week is one of the largest weeks we've ever experienced. We're picking up at least 22 comics. There's 2, Cold Dead War number 3 and Battle of Horns number 2, that I wasn't able to order, but my information leads me to believe that they should be coming out.
Okay.
So we'll check when we get to the shop. A lot of good stuff. Spectre Inspectors number 4 is coming out. The Ghost Hunter story.
Right. And, let me tell you, if, you are like I was a few years ago and, your comfort zone is Marvel and DC and you're kind of afraid to venture out into other publishers, highly recommend you do that because indies are kind of where it's at right now. I mean, Marvel and DC, they're putting out a lot of great stuff, but there's so many great things coming out from Image and a lot of the other smaller publishing companies.
AWA.
Yeah, I mean, check those out on the comic book rack. Look at them, and we're going to recommend a few here.
Mm-hmm.
Venture out a little bit, step outside your comfort zone. Even non-superhero stuff, a lot of great stuff happening.
I mean, Image is trying to create their own superhero universe, which I applaud them for that. And some of the stuff is really good.
Yeah.
But it's some of the non-superhero stuff that we seem to enjoy, obviously, post-apocalyptic books.
Right.
For example, Two Moons number 4 is coming out.
Yeah.
Now that's that Civil War,
supernatural type stories. Yeah.
Great stuff, great art.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting, Milestone Returns number 0 is coming out. If you remember the old City of Dakota, I think it was, with the universe that was all by black creators, looks like they're bringing those characters back. Which I'm excited. I can't wait to see that. I mean, some of those guys like Static, I mean, they were good. I hated to see them go. Let's see what else we got. Beta Ray Bill number 3. We did add Miles Morales Spider-Man to our ongoing list.
Right.
So this will be the second one in a row for us. We liked the last one enough that we added it to the list. I think the ones we're most looking forward to is Robin number 2.
Yep. That was a good one last time.
Real curious to see if they can keep that going. Marvel now has the rights to the Aliens franchise. So Alien number 3, first 2 have been dead on. Of course, Heroes Reborn is a weekly book. Number 4 is coming out. And this week there's 3 attached one-shots, such as Magneto and the Mutant Force,
Okay.
Siege Society, and Young Squadron. So looking forward to seeing how that goes. And one that if you had told me a year ago I was going to be looking forward to, I'd have laughed at you.
Mm-hmm.
The Last Ronin #3.
Yeah. I mean, if you need to know if the old man likes a Ninja Turtle story, you know it's good, because he has never been a big fan of Ninja Turtles.
No, I didn't like the animated TV show. I didn't care for the early books by Eastman and Laird. They were okay, not great. This book is great.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't like the middle. It was like they were an Archie book. Oh wait, they were an Archie book.
They were Archie books. Yeah.
But at any rate, Last Ronin's good stuff. Looking forward to it. You were really like Shadow Man #2 a little bit more than I did.
Yeah, let me tell you, I have been a huge fan of the Dresden Files book series for years now.
Oh, by Jim Butcher?
Yeah, and the way that Dresden narrates the story throughout, and his smart ass detective sort of dialogue. I always love that. Shadow Man reads a lot like the Dresden Files,
yeah.
and it's a lot of similar subject matter, supernatural stuff, demons and things like that. So yeah, I mean, I loved it. The writing is top notch. So highly recommend checking out Shadow Man.
All right, so those are the ones we're looking forward to the most. I'm going to be reading a lot of comic books.
Yep. So today, I mean, the date we put this out is Wednesday, so we'd like to give you our recommendations on New Comic Book Day. So head out to your local comic book shop, check these out. All right, so there's our comic book recommendations. So I have a new movie-ism, so let's head back outside with Thor. All right, comic lovers, back out here with Thor. And today I have another movie-ism for you, third one in a row. All right, so this one, and I always try to have these movie-isms be kind of comic book movie centric. And hey, sit. Good boy. All right, so I always try to have these movie-isms be comic book movie centric. And today,
he's just gonna be like that today.
Yeah.
He knows Loki's coming.
Mm-hmm. All right, so this is one I like to call This is what happens in usually comic book movies, where the heroes meet for the first time.
Then they fight.
They always have to fight first, right?
Then they realize
they're on the same side, and they need to work together, right?
That was the storyline of almost every issue of Marvel Team Up for years.
Mm-hmm. So here's a few examples of why can't we be friends?
He gives up the cube, he's all yours. Until then, stay out of the way. Tourist. Okay.
Who are you?
Who are you?
So, what can you do?
All right, got the boy back up here. All right, so there's a few examples of why can't we be friends, but eventually they realize they need to work together and they become friends.
Of course.
No hard feelings, Point Break. You got a mean swing.
All right, so there you have it. So that about wraps up this episode. So what are we going to be doing next week? Hopefully I'll have a little bit more to tell you about Thor. Maybe we go to a new park next week. What do you think? That'd be fun.
Another park with ducks.
Yep.
Ducks are food.
And we have comic reviews and previews for the next week, and whatever else we feel like telling you about. Maybe we'll have a brief quick top 10 to share with you. Who knows? It's always fun to figure that out as we go. All right, so hope you guys will tune in. We'll see you guys next week. Excelsior.
True believers, E-Money and I are always looking for something good to read that we haven't gotten into. If you want to make suggestions, right down there in the comments.
Yep.